You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-Mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-Mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Wednesday, 7th day of September, 2022. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. This is our second live broadcast of the day. This broadcast open to the public. We have a live training room every morning every trading day from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern. If you've not yet taken your free trial, you can go there, go to mytradingiq.com, scroll down, you'll see, or actually you don't have to scroll down at the very top of the page. Michael will show you when he comes on. You just click the button, fill out a couple of lines, and you can join us for 5 consecutive days where we treat you just like you are a lifetime member so that you can make a well-informed and intelligent decision if what we do is right for you. Now, the afternoon broadcast, the morning broadcast is reserved for members and those taking the free trial, but the afternoon broadcast is open to the public. We broadcast both on our go-to platform and also on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live each and every day on our YouTube channel, we also archive each and every daily live broadcast, and currently there's over 2,000 daily live broadcasts archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. So let's open with a word of prayer. Our verse today, Numbers 6:24. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. As believers, we know in our hearts that God is sovereign and strong. We can believe that his plans for us, for our loved ones, are for good, and that he has blessing in store as we follow after him. Yet often when life presses and things feel stressed, when problems overwhelm and hardships come our way, our focus can get blurred. We somehow start to believe that it all depends on us. Like maybe we blew it or messed up or got ourselves off the course from the road to success. We spin our wheels trying to find a fast way out of difficulty. We feel like it's up to us to make things happen. Stirring up action, trying hard to get one foot into an open door, or wondering why a closed one shut. We start thinking that if we're not able enough, talented enough, brave enough, that maybe God can't use us. In that moment, we forget that the very God who created this entire universe, who holds the stars in place and knows the exact number of hairs on your head, also knows our way, that his favor rests on us as we seek after him first, and he holds the power to cause things to happen in just a moment that would otherwise take us years to do. He can line up our pathways to cross with others he wants us to meet. He can open doors that leave us surprised at how they open. And he can close doors that he knows are not the best for us. He has a plan in the good and in every hard thing we face. And often the greatest blessings come after the greatest time of testing. Without a test, you'll never have a testimony. Over and over through Scripture, we see story after story of when God turned around for good the difficult pathways of those He loved. And He still works the same today, for He never changes. We are children of the King. He is sovereign and He reigns supreme, giving favor, guidance, and blessings to all those who seek after Him. And our prayers are powerful on behalf of our families and friends. May His hand of mercy and grace, His presence of peace, be over every one of these who we love so much. We may not be able to be with them every hour of every day, but He is. We can't see every struggle, every worry, every burden that may weigh them down, but God does. And God is always there, carrying them and us straight through. He is a safe place. Resting there today. Hope you are too. Pray with me. Heavenly Father, thank you for your great love and blessing over our lives. Thank you that your favor has no end, but it lasts for our entire lifetime. Forgive us for sometimes forgetting that you are intimately acquainted with all of our ways, that you know what concerns us, and you cover us as with a shield. We ask for your guidance so that we might walk fully in your blessing and goodness today. We ask that your face would shine on us, that you would open the right doors for our lives and for our loved ones, that you would close the wrong doors and protect us from those we need to walk away from. Establish the work of our hands and bring to fulfillment all that you have given us to do in these days. We pray that you would make our way purposeful and our footsteps firm out of your goodness and your love for us. God, give us a heart of wisdom to hear your voice and make us strong by your huge favor and grace. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. And everybody said amen. All right, let me give you the numbers from around the world. We'll start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. The Dow's currently up 216 points. NASDAQ up 121. S&P 500 up 35. And the Russell 2000 up 14. Now for the NASDAQ, that's a gain of over 1%. For the S&P, it's almost 1%. And for the Russell 2000, it's almost 1%. In the commodity basket, crude oil down $3.76, trading 83.12 last. That's a drop of over 4%. Gold up $8.80, trading 17.2170 last. Silver up 26 cents, trading 18.17 last. That's a gain of 1.5%. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei down 196 points. The Shanghai up 3. The Hang Seng down 158. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE down 62. The DAX up 44. The CAC up 1 point. So that gives us a mixed day in Asia, a mixed day in the UK. But so far, it's a big green radio Wednesday here in the US of A. So with that, we'll go to Michael, get a recap of what happened this morning in the live training room. After that, I'll be back. We'll look at the logic alerts, the concierge trade alerts, and at any point during the broadcast, if you have a question, all you got to do Just type it into the question box. We'll be happy to answer it for you. Michael, are you ready? I guess I'll take that as a no. Okay. Well, then we'll do this. We'll look at the daily chart of the S&P 500 E-mini futures. Been waiting for price to make it to this 24% reverse fib, which is at 38.73.5, and the low put in today was 38.83.5. So we missed it by about 10 points. However, we've got the step line overhead as resistance, and then the high of yesterday as resistance, and then the 38% fib as resistance, and the swing high of September 2nd. And then we run into the daily BBC, which we expect to be resistance until proven otherwise. Is that you, Michael?
That is me.
Okay.
It is me.
You ready? Take it away.
I am ready. Here we go. I'll take it over here. All right. Here we go. That shouldn't happen to be in here, would she? No. Okay. All right. Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Wednesday. It's Wednesday already, the 7th day of September, 2022. If you've not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com right here. Real easy. It says grab a seat here for 5 days of trading and training. Click on that. You've sent all the information you need. But when you're taking the trial, you should go here, download the platform, download the trade handout, watch the videos, familiarize yourself with everything. All right. When you take the trial, we should be getting information from you, either about your ID for DT Pro, your ID for TradingView, or your machine ID for NinjaTrader. One of those things, all of those things, we should be getting some information from you when you take the trial, right? Because you want to have that platform downloaded so you can look at it outside of the 2 hours of the room in the morning. All right, spreadsheet. Where did my spreadsheet go? I will make a new one. Okay, so this morning we didn't trade all that much because we had a long moment in time, and I'll get into that in a minute, but we still did all right. We got our goal in 7 minutes today. Here it is right here. Okay, so if you're gonna read the spreadsheet, you gotta read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 7th day of September 2022. Today we made 50 ticks in the Russell, 5 ticks in crude, 6 ticks in gold, and 22 ticks on the ES. Put us at 6:35 in the morning session. Today it took 7 minutes and 1 trade to get to the goal for the day. That went up $100 a contract, and we only took 16 trades this morning. All right, so on the month now we're at $3,797. It's over 4 trading days, averaging $949 per contract per 2-hour trading day. We've now gone 170 out of 170 days so far this year, getting our goal. All right, so every day so far this year, we've gotten our goal. And we've gone 231 days now, consecutive days since our last down day. That puts us at $176,063 on the year, averaging $1,035 per contract per 2-hour trading day. If you were to quit trading when you got your goal for the day, and your goal was $100 profit per contract, right? $100 profit for every 1 contract that you trade. And you added 1 contract a month. So far this year, we've only had to work 28.18 hours, and you would have averaged $3,754 per hour. $37.54 per hour. Think about that. All right, let's get into the actual trades. Okay, we didn't do much with gold. We had, this was our moment in time in gold. I thought it was going to pull back here and then move up. It didn't actually do the pullback. It just moved up. Moved straight up from our moment in time. We didn't have any trades this morning in there. And then we took this 1 trade right here. This took forever to set up, but it set up perfectly. It was blue off of blue, and we took the up close. We got 6 ticks profit on that, and it went just a little further, and that was it. At the end of the session, there was 1 more gold trade, which is right here, and it looks like that one would have stopped out. I had a down close here at 21.9, and it dropped down to 21.6. So it only went 3 ticks into profit. You wouldn't have time to move your stop to break even. It would have eventually stopped you out and then gone down and done its thing. That was gold. Okay, we didn't trade crude all that much either because The crude DOM was off a little bit this morning, so I traded the Russell instead, and I'll bring that up in a minute. But let me bring up the question box and make sure I see that. There it is. I do see it. It's Tom, and he's just saying hello. Okay. On the crude oil, this was our moment in time. I thought it was going to go down some, but we really had no idea what it was going to do. It was in the middle of a cycle reset, it looks like, because we're trading below the BBC with bullish separation. So that usually means that it's going to do a cycle reset, and the cycle is wrong. Turns out the cycle was right this time. It took a little while. It took a little while to go in the direction that it was going in, but it was all choppy, so you wouldn't have done anything in there. Okay. It turned out to go up, and then we started trading it again over here. We missed a trade there, and we picked up 5 ticks on that one trade right there, and that was all that we did on crude. Was just the one trade. Now during the break, there was red off a red right there, red off a red right there, and the blue off a blue right there during the break. Okay, so that was some good stuff. Let's see, on the ES. On the ES. Here we go. On the ES right in here. There was a shorting opportunity. We did trade the ES quite a bit. We got our goal for the day on the Russell, but this was our first ES trade. We shorted here. We picked up 8 ticks. There was another one here. We got a break even on. I took this trade by accident. I did pick up, I think, 20 ticks on it, or 30 ticks or something like that, but I didn't count that toward the total. The next trade here I stopped out on. I should have had my stop at break even on that, but I wasn't paying attention and I missed that. So I stopped out, and that put me at -2. All right, then I had a break even there. This was the moment in time, and what I was saying at the time, this red bar right here is the one that was building. This one right here, and I was saying that the next bar is going to determine the trade. If it closes down, it's going to close down on one of these trend lines, depending on what was going to happen with that bar that was being built. And the white bar is the one that would have triggered the trade, and it did end up going down to these levels that I had pointed out. That was the moment in time. Now, after that, we had a trade here. My next trade, we picked up 13 ticks to get us to +11. Then we had a +1 tick to get to 12. Then 20 ticks to get to 32. Then we stopped out to put us back down to 22. And I had a break even right in there. Again, at the end of the room this morning, there was a red off a red right here to give a nice short trade right there. All right, and going over here during the break, I'm just looking for a red off a red or blue off a blue, and it looks like there was one red off a red right here that you could have taken. There was one right here at the end of the session, and there was another one right over here that you could have taken. So again, if you just do the red off a red and the blue off a blue, you're going to do all right. All right, you see in here on crude oil, just now there were a couple of nice trades, one right there and one right here. And all this stuff with the histogram down here at the bottom, in time, you guys will understand what that's all about. All right, it's going to be really good stuff. Really
Sorry, I was on a call.
Oh, that's okay. I'm still going.
Oh, okay.
I'm still going. I haven't even got to the Russell yet.
Okay.
I did trade the Russell this morning, so I'm going to do that one now. Okay, so here we go on the Russell. All right, my first trade of the Russell here. Now, this is when I realized that crude was not keeping up, so I traded the Russell, and I got 20 ticks on the first trade, 20 ticks on the second trade. This is where we got the goal for the day. Then we doubled it right there. And then the next trade after that, we ended up with the break even. There was one more trade here that would have been a break even had I gone, but I didn't. There was one here that I missed, and then one here I got a break even on. And then at this point, we were at +40. So then I got +10 that put us at 50, a break even, plus another 10 that put us at 60. I didn't finish this thought, whatever that was there, but then I stopped out on this one. I should have had my stop at break even on that, but I messed that one up, and that put me back down to 50 on the Russell. And then we did a moment in time, and then the crude started to come back together. So in the moment in time, I thought it was going to go down. We were on this red bar at the time, this red bar before the line. And I thought it was going to go down to this level here and then down to that level. And that's pretty much what it did. It went down to that level, gave a little chop, and then made it all the way down to this level. All right, and I don't think I traded it again. No, it doesn't look like I did. But there were more trades on the Russell. We'll just do red off a red and blue off a blue for the rest of the morning if we show you those. There was a blue off a blue right here that worked out. Red off a red right here that worked out. Red off a red right here that would have worked out. It had a lot of pullback, but it still would have worked out with a 10-tick stop. And a blue off a blue here that would have worked out. Blue off a blue here that worked out. This would have been a red off a red right here that worked out just fine. Another red off a red right here that worked out just fine. Now you guys got to remember, with the red off a red, you can forget about everything else, all right? All you need is the color on the ribbon and the color of the bar. I mean, you could even, well, I was gonna do something different, but just this is all you need: the color of the bar and the color of the ribbon. Red off a red, you take that trade. Okay, whenever you get red off a red, you're gonna take that trade. Blue off a blue, you take that trade. All right, just take it. Don't second guess anything. Just take the trade. Follow the risk management strategy. Just take the trade. All right, don't second guess it. And and you'll do just fine. All right. And that's not just on the Russell. That's all the markets. The red off a red. If you have all the ribbon there, the red off a red, you just take the trade. You don't need the slingshot. If you have the slingshot, that's great. It can help you manage a trade. When the green line gets down into the cycle, you want to trail your stop really close, but you don't need to. All right, you don't need to have the slingshot to get into the trade. All right, so that was my morning. Could I have taken the trade, the trend line trade on the ES at 1217, even though the ribbon turned blue? 1217, you're talking about this one right here, I think, right? What I do with these, Michael, when it pulls back and it hits the BBC and the BBC changes color, I wait for the trend line opportunity that comes up after. Okay, there was one this morning that I took. I think it was on the Russell and on the ES that it happened. Let me see if I can find that one. Right in here. See, I waited for this trend line up here, and the same trade happened on the Russell this morning. That's the exact question that you're asking right now, because the trend line should have been drawn like this, but I moved it over to the top of that bar and took that trade. I did the same thing on the Russell. Okay, but that's the exact question that you're asking. In the future, though, you're going to be looking down here and you're going to say, okay, I'm just going to take that trade. It's bouncing off the BBC, the black's on the bottom, and this is saying, just go for that. Okay, that's coming up. Okay. Future CFR, trading IQ, Emini training school, all that stuff. All right. Okay, so back to the spreadsheet. Again, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today's the 7th day of September 2022. Made 50 ticks on the Russell, 5 ticks on crude, 6 ticks on gold, and 22 ticks on the ES. Put us at plus 635 on the morning session. Today it took 7 minutes and 1 trade to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $100 contract. We took a total of 16 trades this morning. So on the month now, that puts us at $3,797. Over 4 trading days, averaging $949 per contract per 2-hour trading day. We've now gone 170 out of 170 days so far this year, getting our goal, and we've gone 231 consecutive days since our last negative day. On the year, that puts us at 176,000. That's with 1 contract, averaging $1,035 per contract per 2-hour business day. And let's see, if you were to quit trading when you got your goal for the day and you were to add 1 contract per month, you would have only had to trade 28.18 hours so far this year. That's on the year, and you'd be trading 9 contracts right now, and you would have averaged $3,754 per hour. Okay, $37.54 per hour on the year. All right, guys. Let me show you how to take the free trial one more time. I believe that was on one of these. This one. If you have not taken the free trial, go here to mytradingiq.com, and right here, grab a seat for 5 days of trading and training. Click on that, and it's going to bring you. You can be sent all the information you need to take the trial. Now, again, if you're going to bother taking the trial, you really should download the platform Get it on your desktop. If you have trouble putting that thing on your desktop, contact us. All right, let us know, and we will do everything we can to get that on your desktop for you. All right, the trade handout. Take a look at that. You don't have to download it because there's only one thing on this page. If you want to just bookmark this page, these are the rules followed all the time. The videos, you can look in here, watch the videos. These are fairly recent videos of trades that I did this year at some point. If you look at the actual symbol of on the chart, you'll see that they were all from this year. And now this was the Q contract on both of those, and this is still the September contract on the ES. Speaking of the September contract on the ES, the new contract becomes available tomorrow. All right, I don't expect we're going to roll tomorrow. I don't expect we're probably going to roll this week, but be watching the volume to see when we're going to roll, because we're going to roll soon, because the new contract, the second Thursday of the month, is when it comes available, and that is tomorrow. All right, so we'll be watching the volume for the roll. We're going to be rolling out of the U contract into the Z contract pretty soon. All right. All right. And that's it. With that, I can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, and Studio A overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, you are ready.
I'm ready.
Excellent.
Recap of the recap.
Today it took 7 minutes and 1 trade to get to $100 per contract.
Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, yesterday we talked about the last 3 weeks, how kind the market had been. Over the last 214 weeks, we've averaged 20% of Logic 247 alerts getting stopped out. But the last 3 weeks, we were down around 12 or 13%. So the markets were kind, and so I spoke about it yesterday. And then the market told me, you don't say stuff like that, because it changed its tune. Since the market opened Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we've issued a total of 31 alerts, 6 never triggered. Still waiting on the outcome of 4, 21 actionable alerts, of which 5 or 24% would have been stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade, less when possible, based on market structure and a simple 3-step process that we teach all of our passport holders. Now, the logic alerts come out around the clock as opportunity presents itself. Our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts, those do not come out around the clock. The logic alerts are based on current price action, whereas the CTAs are based on historic price action. And when current price action meets historic price action, that's where you'll find some of your best high probability, low risk trade opportunities. There's 2 numbers for each market. The way you handle that is you draw a line in the sand at 39.27, draw a line in the sand at 38.84. Make note of where price is at the time the report is published. And if price starts trending up towards 39.27, that's bullish. So our strategy will look for opportunities to be long the market. If price starts trending down to 38.84, well, that's bearish. And so our strategy will look for opportunities to be short the market. In either case, that's where you'll use Logic 247 and everything you learn in the live training room every morning to yourself find opportunities to be long or short the market. Most days, you can get your goal for the day before price even gets to the CTA trigger. So if you want a screenshot, you can grab it and we'll walk through each one of these markets as we do each and every day. All right. We already talked about the daily chart. We came oh so close to that 24% reverse fib, but we have resistance overhead at the step line, and then at the high of yesterday, and then at the high of September 2nd, which was the 38% reverse fib. And then the next resistance will be at the BBC. The pullback holds more often than it doesn't. And so we'll see how we close today. We might just have enough buyers in the market committed enough to take us up to the BBC. From there, we would anticipate another leg down that does finally take us to that 24% reverse fib. We only missed it by 10 points, but I think the market still got some more downside in it. In fact, it may have a lot of downside in it. So you know where the resistance is overhead. Support is at the low of the day, then that 24% reverse fib. Then we get down into these lows here. We've got this bullish cross here, which whenever price, when you have a bullish cross that leads to an extended move, now this is on any market, any time frame. First time price revisits the area of the cross. In this case, it was a bullish cross, so we're seeing support 2 days back to back, right where the cross took place, right there. It's just above that 24% reverse fib. That's pretty reliable. The larger the time frame, the more reliable it is. And once these lows are taken out, the last major low on the daily chart was on June 17th, when the market traded down to 36.39. And then we caught a rally, got us up to the BBC, pulled back to blue and climbing, back above. And then we consolidated, and that took us up to this high, which was an attempt to take out these 3 previous swing highs, and it failed. We're always suspicious of a new high or new low of only a couple points when we're looking at a daily chart. Now, hedge funds of the world, the Goldman Sachs of the world, they look at daily charts, weekly charts, monthly charts, the way you and I look at 30-minute charts and 5-minute charts, and tick charts and range charts. Has to do with account size. Okay. However, it is the institutional money that moves price, not retail traders trading one contract. So by looking at a daily chart of whatever market you're trading, you can identify where the major obstacles are. Like overhead, if we get above the step line and the high of yesterday, 39.63 and a quarter, that is a major obstacle. If we overcome that obstacle, then price can glide right up to the 38% reverse fib and possibly even the BBC. So we've had a nice rally, but at the moment I feel that we're still in a downtrend. But we're not in the business of crystal balls and all that. We just tell you what's in front of us. Okay? But it really is important that you know what the institutional traders are looking at and what they're attempting to do. On the ES 30-minute chart. Yesterday afternoon, I drew a window of opportunity and posted it in the discussion group. And the market opened last night. The vertical line separates today Wednesday from yesterday Tuesday. And yesterday I posted quite a few charts as we had this huge green candle that ran right up to the BBC. And everybody thought it was going to take off. But look what you got right there, a bearish cross. So you got two things. The pullback to the BBC holds more often than it doesn't. It held here, 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 and here. Those are 30-minute candles. But you also had a bearish cross that led to an extended move down to the weekly trading zone. Price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green, and it's called the BBC. This stands for bull-bear cross. When price is above it, we're bullish and anticipate higher prices. When price gets below it, we're bearish and we anticipate lower prices. And yesterday's low overshot just a little bit this week's weekly trading zone at 38.90/91. And so in one 30-minute candle last night, that 3-point window of opportunity was filled, and it came right down to the weekly trading zone, which we expect to be support until proven otherwise. And so here we go. Red and falling turns to blue and climbing. We get above the BBC. We get a leg. We get a retracement. Pullback holds, even though we spiked it. Leg, retrace, leg. So 39.27 was the long CTA, and we had 39.30. That's 3 points, $50 a point, $150 per contract traded. Then we pulled back to the BBC, and the pullback held. And so then we trigger again, and we run up to 39.36.5. So that's 9 points, $50 a point, $450 per contract traded. Then we got back below the trigger, triggered again. This time we ran up to 39.47. That's 20 points, $50 a point, $1,000 per contract traded. We've got blue and climbing. Price seems to be finding support here at the step line. And so we're probably not done yet to the upside for the session. Yesterday we challenged the weekly trading zone at 52.53 a number of times, but we failed to ever pull away from it. All of those candles are touching the weekly zone. Only 3 things happen at a weekly zone. The thing you'll see most of the time is this: consolidation. That's about 70-75% of the time. This is rejection. Price came down, you had a huge red candle. It spiked the zone, but by the time the 30-minute candle closed, the only thing left touching the zone was the wick. The third and least likely thing is the slice, and if I come across a good example of that, I will show it to you. So here we go. That high is potential resistance. That double top right there is potential resistance. And then you got the weekly zone. On the short side, we came down and touched the short trigger 3 times, but we got rejected each time. Price was just consolidating along the zone. But once red and falling turned to blue and climbing, that changes everything. Now you're looking for a close above the BBC. And this is a perfect example of plenty of opportunity to get your goal for the day before we even got to the CTA long number. You got blue and climbing. Price takes out these previous swing highs. 39.10 up to, there's about a 13-point move, then a pullback, and then an actual trigger back below. Once an alert triggers, you should expect it to trigger multiple times. There's a higher probability of triggering multiple times than not triggering multiple times. And if you go back through the archives on YouTube, there's over 2,000 daily live broadcasts, and you'll see it. Go back 6 weeks, 6 months, a year, 2 years. You'll see it happen again and again and again. All right, we'll go to the Dow. On the short side, 31.030, the first move down took us to 39.81. So that's 49 points at $5 a point. Price then got back above the trigger, and down it comes again to 31.021. 30.0988, so that's 42 points at $5 a point. Then we get back above the trigger and we drop one more time. this time to 31.05. That's 25 points at $5 a point. And then blue and climbing kicks in. Now you're not thinking short. You're just waiting for price to get above the VBC, and you're looking for long trades. Okay. We got a leg. Price pulled all the way back to the weekly zone where it found support, just like it did yesterday. Yesterday, resistance on the Dow was at the weekly zone. Support was at the weekly zone. Both times it came down, it was rejected. Rejected. And then we dipped a little below it last night. But once price is back above the VBC, price is always trying to get to a zone. If price is above the VBC, it's trying to get to the zone above, which is what it's trying to do now. When price is below the VBC, it's trying to get to the zone below, as you see here. Now right here we have a bearish cross, which is why this candle found resistance. But buyers are pretty committed at the moment, so it looks like they're going to be able to overcome this swing high, 31,450. We're at 31,458, so we've already overcome it. Now, just because we spiked it doesn't mean we're done with it. I would put the window of opportunity up in this area right here. Roughly 31,480 up to 31,530. 50 points, $5 a point. On the Russell. Russell is just now triggering for the first time. The Russell number was 1809. This got moved a little bit. Okay, so we got rejected. Important prices, important areas are almost always tested. So we come up and test it, get rejected, test it again, get rejected, and so far we've ran up a point. And that's it. Price will almost always revisit the entry when you're working with a 30-minute chart, so keep that in mind. Here on the short side, we had a drop at 1782 that took us to 1789, 3 points, back above the trigger, down we go again, this time to 1788, 4 points, $50 a point. Then we get back above the trigger, and there's another drop, back above the trigger, another drop. This one down to 1780, 2 points on that one. And then just like the other indices, red and falling turned to blue and climbing. We got back above the BBC. The market found resistance at the weekly trading zone. We had a pullback held. And now price is trying to get to the weekly zone overhead. Not only is there a zone there, but there's a bearish cross from yesterday. So if you ride this thing up, just keep in mind that you have resistance times 2, the bearish cross and the weekly zone. On the NQ, market open, first drop, 11,960, takes us down to 11,922. $440 per contract traded. And then back above the trigger, down we go again. We had a little move right here from 960 down to 953. That's $140 per contract traded. Back above the trigger, down we go again to 11,937. Call it 1140. It's 20 points, $20 a point, $400 per contract traded. And then another trigger, and then another trigger. Even this one dropped to 11,950. That's 10 points, $20 a point, $200 per contract traded. Red and falling turns to blue and climbing. We get back above the BVC. We take out these swing highs right here. And we run up. And we have a long-legged doji. Didn't quite make it to 12083. Pull back to the BVC, the pullback held. This time from 83, we make it up to 128. It's 45 points at $20 a point, $900 per contract traded. Then we get back below the trigger, trigger again. This time we run up to 120097, 14 points, $20 a point. Back below the trigger, here we go again. 12109, so 17.9 is 26 points, $520 per contract traded. Back below the trigger. And that was the last trigger, and the high so far, 12,174. So that's 74 and 17, 84. Let's call it 90 points at $20 a point. This move right here is $1,800 per contract traded. And where is it running into trouble? At the previous bearish cross. Okay, it's doing its very best to overcome it. And the markets seem pretty bullish right now, so it may take a couple of attempts. Bearish cross, extended move. The first time price returns to the area of the bearish cross, you expect resistance. So your window of opportunity will be up here once this major obstacle gets cleared. Okay. All right. Now the NQ is pretty volatile. I don't recommend it for new traders. Just leave it at that. I don't recommend it for new traders. Crude oil. Here's the open last night, and the first trigger takes us all the way down to the target, which was $500 per contract traded, and it kept going. And then it started to walk sideways. Red and falling turned to blue and climbing. Took us back up to the zone. Yesterday, the market found resistance at the zone, resistance at the zone, support at the zone. Zones are an area, 8605 to 8610. And so, when price can go no higher, resistance, it will turn around and go look for support. And on this trigger, the BBC was below the trigger. So you got to wait for price to get below the BBC. And you know that price is trying to get to the weekly zone below and below. And now it's trying to get to the lowest weekly trading zone for the week at 80.80/80.85. When the price of crude moves $1 from $85 to $86, that's worth $1,000 per contract traded. On gold, two-sided action. First move down from 1709 took us to 1703.3. Let's call it 1704. It's 5 points, $500 per contract traded. Then back above the trigger, Down we go again, this time to a low of 1702. That's $700 per contract traded. And then we get a trigger here. We're below the BBC, so that's what you want to be doing, is looking for a shorting opportunity. So we trigger, make it down to 1708. It was $140 per contract move. Price gets above the BBC. Trigger 1722 takes us up to $260 per contract traded. And then price got back below and triggered again up to 1721.1. No. 1723.4. So $140 per contract traded. And then back below the trigger, and this time $380 per contract traded is what the market made available. Now, if you're long gold, look, you got a bullish cross from yesterday. I'm sorry, a bearish cross. So the first time price hits that area, expect it to be resistance until proven otherwise. Silver. Silver basically got rejected right at the important price, important area. On the short side, it gave up a little bit. 2 pennies is $100. So from 1780, we made it to 1775. So that's $250 per contract traded. Back above the trigger. Down again. This time, 1774. It's $200 per contract traded. Yeah, 74. 2 pennies is $100. So from 1774 to no, that's 6 pennies. I'm sorry. So $300 per contract traded. And on the euro, we had some triggers on the long side. There was some profit available. You need to see a 100 tick move from 600 to 500, from 935 to 835 would be $125 per contract traded. From 935 to 835, actually that's 100, you only need 80. So that was a little over $125 per contract traded. You have multiple triggers there. And on this one, down to 98,825 from 935. Then price gets above the BBC. The first time we made a run at the zone, we found resistance. Basically, we found support at the zone. The zones are an area. And then we get one trigger to the long side, and it's taking us, when price is above the BBC, it's trying to get to the zone above. When price is below the BBC, it's trying to get to the zone below. It's the area the market found support yesterday, last night, this morning. And we're almost to the zone. So from 420 to 500, that would be $125 per contract traded. And another 80 would be another $125 per contract traded, and then another 80, and then another 80. And we're almost back to the spot where we found resistance yesterday. Okay. So the market has a very bullish tempo to it today. Looks like we're going to challenge yesterday's swing high. Once we overcome yesterday's swing high at 39.63 and hold it on a pullback, then you should be considering long up to 40.18, the 38% reverse fib. That's the only obstacle in the path. Once this swing high is taken out, then you got a real nice window of opportunity right there. And with that, go to our good word for the day. Traditions. Some families have them, some don't. Ephesians 6:4. Bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. Fathers, your children deserve a father who will model the Christian life before them, teach them the truth of God's word, and show them how to receive the gift of eternal life. And it could be that in your family, this beautiful tradition will begin when you commit your life to Jesus Christ. Author and Bible teacher Gordon MacDonald tells the story of 3 medieval stonemasons who were working on a building project. When a passerby asked them what they were doing, the first replied that he was laying bricks. The second described his work as that of building a wall. But it was the third stonemason who demonstrated genuine esteem for his work when he said, "I'm raising a great cathedral." They're all doing the same job, but they all 3 have a different vision. Pose that same question to any 2 fathers concerning their role in the family, and you're liable to get some kind of contrast. The first may say, "I'm supporting a family," but the second may say these things differently and say, "I'm raising children." The former looks at his job as putting bread on the table, but the latter sees things from God's perspective. He's participating in the shaping of our lives. R.A. Torrey, the great Bible teacher, once said, "A man's success as a Christian leader cannot be determined until one sees his grandchildren." Dad, think about that. You're not just raising sons and daughters. You're raising future fathers and mothers. You're shaping lives today that tomorrow will be shaping the lives of generations to come. And in order to succeed, you must take God with one hand and your children with the other. And that's our good word for the day. To become a lifetime member of CFRN, a passport holder, all you have to do is go to eminifuturestrading.com. It's lifetime access to everything we do, everything we've ever done, and whatever we do in the future. There's no recurring fees, no upsells, none of the garbage that you're probably accustomed to. You have a live teacher, 2 hours every trading day. Nobody becomes a lawyer without a teacher. Nobody becomes a doctor without a teacher. Nobody becomes a pilot and lives to tell about it without a teacher. Same is true of a plumber or electrician. We all know that in whatever field of endeavor that we pursue, we need somebody to show us how to do the job. And that's where many traders, they watch a couple YouTube videos, they buy some indicator package, and then pretty soon they move on to something else. The statistics are pretty grim. Now, the reason 9 out of 10 fail is because they don't have a teacher. So we solved that. You have a live teacher every trading day for life. Passport never expires, no recurring fees. You also have access to unlimited one-on-one private mentoring. The methodology and strategy that we teach you and the indicators we provide you with not only work with futures, but they work exactly the same with stocks, crypto, Forex. How's that possible? Because all markets price flows the same, from support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again, a never-ending cycle. You also receive the Logic 247 alerts, of which we've now crossed 11,600. Every one of them a trend trade as defined by the 30-minute chart, price, and the BBC. The concierge trade alerts, the Thursday night members only workshop, and around the clock support 24/7 via Telegram. It really is everything a trader needs, all under one roof at one low price. So those nights of Googling to your fingers bleed trying to find the Holy Grail, accept the fact that there is no Holy Grail. There is nothing out there that is going to consistently predict what's going to happen next. You can, however, with the proper strategy and indicators, know what the next high probability move is. Over 214 weeks and 11,600 logic alerts, we know that on average 20% of the alerts will get stopped out. Because we read our chart, we know what the next high probability move is, and then in the midst of the trade, the order flow shifts from bullish to bearish or bearish to bullish, and that's why you always got to have a hard stop. If you're pursuing this as a career, as a job, a way to pay your bills. And it's not going to happen overnight. There's no silver bullet. You got to put in the time, you got to put in the energy, you got to pull the trigger. That's why, if you're new, you should be in the simulator every day, trading during the live training room and after, until you put together 10 consecutive days in a row where you reach your goal in 10 trades or less. Only then should you attempt to trade real money, because in putting together those 10 consecutive days in a row, you've proven to yourself that you understand the strategy and the methodology. When you go live with one contract. Now that you're trading real money, your goal is to increase your account balance by $2,000. Once you accomplish that, our 24/20 blueprint will give you the green light to add a second contract. Now, the big difference between the first contract and the second contract. The first contract is funded with your startup capital, but the second contract is funded with profit you earned in the market. The blueprint will tell you when it's time to add number 3, number 4, number 5, number 10, but you only add one at a time, and you only add with profit you earned in the market. If you follow that, it makes it very difficult to blow up another account. But you have to have the patience and self-discipline to actually learn the strategy. And the only way you're going to do that is by trading along in the simulator in the live training room. And then the beauty of futures is you can practice anytime around the clock. So, with that, we are done for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.